All right, you asked for it. We delivered more of these. I'm just kidding. We're doing 2 back-to-back, but I know you're going to ask for it. All right. This one I saw a while ago, but we didn't have a format to do this. July 4th, Valve responds to claims that it has banned AI-generated games from Steam. This is a big one.
Oof.
I mean, we've talked about how good it's going to be when content has AI in it and the possibilities, but apparently old Gaby Gabe doesn't agree.
Yeah, well, we were talking about this offline beforehand. Is like when we were thinking, could gaming companies be bigger than Disney and Netflix in the next few years? And why do we think that? AI generated content,
100%.
and AI generated worlds. And if Valve has banned it, I have to admit, I just assume it is a temporary ban while they figure this all out.
100%. And I think what's banned is probably not AI full stop. It's probably something real niche. And as you can tell, neither of us have read this article, so let's dig in. Look at this little robot from Getty Images. Didn't even use an AI generator for the credit.
At least, it didn't have the watermark on it.
All right. Valve has issued a rare statement after claims it was rejecting games with AI-generated assets from its Steam game store. The notoriously close-lipped developer of the Half-Life series. There's a strange way to describe Steam, to describe Valve. And the de facto gatekeeper of PC gaming distribution said its policy was evolving and not a stand against AI.
Oh, called it. Temporary.
Got him. Steam has a review and approval process, fair enough, much like any app platform, and its rules on content aren't always clear until the developer tests them with edge cases. So it was with one indie dev who posted in a subreddit for like-minded game developers using AI. Man, what a weird niche subreddit. Too bad Reddit's dying. That's the value of the niche. Anyway, saying that Valve is no longer willing to publish games with AI-generated content. The game that they submitted had a few assets that were fairly obviously AI-generated, and Valve appeared to take issue with this.
I wonder how they did it. Surely it's a human looking at it, and they haven't generated AI review yet. And then the second thing is, like, if you had an image in the title screen that was AI generated, is that enough, or was it? Yeah.
So, thoughts, bets on whether this is some weird. I don't know if you've seen that whole like category of Steam of like weird anime borderline sex games.
Yeah.
They're always in the top 10, and I always think, who is buying this stuff? What do you reckon? You reckon this dev was creating a game like that, or someone legit?
Well, I'll keep reading the rest of the article. You click that link to the posted in a subreddit and go find out which game it was. If you can scroll down for me by about 10 centimeters, I'll keep on reading.
I do not want to go and find that out. But
open it in incognito.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to poison my Google history with that. Sick. So, as the legal ownership of such AI-generated art is unclear, we cannot ship your game while it contains these AI-generated assets unless you can affirmatively confirm that you own the rights to all of the IP used in the data set that trained the AI to create the assets of the game. Unexpected.
Whoa.
That is a big call. Like, who could make that claim?
Yeah.
That is really interesting to me as a position. Like, I can understand you used a model that the model wasn't licensed to give you ownership of the outputs, but to prove that you have rights to all of the IP used in the dataset to train it, that just makes it impossible.
Yeah, this feels like they've been given some advice from a legal team that says, we don't know what's going to happen, so the safest thing here is just to say these words, which is, we just want to make sure you own all of it. And we want you to tell us that you own all of it, so then when we post it on Steam, we don't get in trouble.
Yep.
And like, because if you think about it as well, like, are you going to sue this indie game developer? If you're, I don't know, let's just pretend it's Getty Images suing this game developer, right? Is Getty going to go after that individual game developer that does this on their weak weeknights after work? No. They're much better to go after Valve that actually has some. Well, one is they know where they live, and and then the second thing is that they actually have some money to like sue out of them.
Yeah, 100%. All right. A week later, another message. We reviewed game name here. See, this sort of redaction makes me think it's sus as hell, man. And took our time to better understand the AI tech used to create it. Again, while we strive to ship most titles submitted to us, we cannot ship games for which the developer does not have all of the necessary rights. At this time, we are declining to distribute your game since it's unclear if the underlying AI tech used to create the assets has sufficient rights to the training data.
Yeah. So I know this feels like a niche case that we're talking about here, but I'm interested in this article because I believe this niche case is the initial reverberations in the space. This is what we're seeing here will soon be translated to bigger, more important questions, and we saw it with Getty Images initially raising some flags, and then bam, they sued Stability like a month later.
Yeah,
so
definitely. I wonder if, I mean, the article says it was very obviously AI generated. I wonder if there was a watermark and they just looked at which model was used to generate it because, it's unclear if the underlying AI tech used to create the assets has sufficient rights to the trading data. You would think if they did and they knew it, the person would just say, oh, I used this model. Yeah. So I wonder which one they used.
I think that first question for me is like the one of like, how did they know it was AI generated?
Yeah.
Random hallucinations of NPCs.
Or that like hallucinated Getty image watermark that you see on all the Stable Diffusion ones.
Yeah. Oh, side note, I recently did an event and there was like, they did like a running event. Oh, you did it too. I forgot that. And there was a photo, the official photos at the end, and I missed the time frame to like get the discount. And I really only wanted one photo, and it just had watermarks all over it everywhere. So I downloaded it and tried to use like a free AI water removal marking tool, and it did really well. But something interesting happened with the image of when the watermarks were very faint, and then when I got rid of them, these new watermarks came out in the background, and they were much more prominent. So there was something in the image that was like, "Oh, you're going to use AI on me? I'm going to throw these watermarks at you."
Got 'em.
Yeah.
Got 'em. Love it. I mean, they can't possibly police this in its entirety. If you made it like a brick wall texture to use on a 3D model in your giant city simulator game, there's no way Valve is going to take the time to look into all this. Like, this must have been pretty in their face.
I think it must have like made them think, oh, this is breaching normal IP, right? Like it might have used an image or a character or something that could have breached normal IP. And then they're like, hang on, this must have been AI generated to do it. Which just makes me think it's a porn game and they put a porn actress in it.
Yeah, God. Well, anyway, let's hope this video doesn't get banned from YouTube for talking about this nonsense.
Yeah.
Probably not. I'm pretty sure you're allowed to say that. We didn't show any screenshots. Who cares? Currently, most AI tools can't really claim to have legal rights to their training data, and even if they do, it may still not be an ethical use of that data. This policy, as stated, basically amounts to a blanket ban on AI-generated assets in the game. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, right now, I think your point at the beginning was right. Like, it's probably temporary. It's an initial stance while they work out what they're doing.
Yeah. And you think if you're Valve, right? Like, sure they develop games, but like their main market is Steam and being a distributor for Steam.
Yeah.
AI isn't going to completely disrupt their business. It's going to make their business better. More people are going to distribute via Steam. And so it makes sense to be like, hey, we just need to like not do anything completely wrong that would see us get sued, banned, whatever it is, by.
I did some background scrolling.
No. Don't share screen.
I'm not sharing the screen, but can confirm based on this Reddit comment Author posted a video of one of the games, and as you say, it is the lowest of low-effort games and a hentai game at that. Called it. Called it. Gosh. After we finish recording, I'll tell you what the name is. This is not the kind of thing I want to be recorded saying. It's ridiculous.
It will not be in the show notes.
Ridiculous. Yeah, no, 100%. Not looking at this game. Find it yourself. Oh, man, the world is weird. Anyway, the use of AI as a games development tool is not itself controversial. Major devs like Ubisoft have loudly said that they believe AI assistance is helpful and may even be necessary to build at the scale and rate they do. 100%.
What a wet paper towel answer. AI may be useful. Like, come on.
Yeah, 100%.
It's going to revolutionize the industry. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some games like God of War. The most two recent God of War games, like the time in between those coming out was massive. It's such a colossal effort, much more than probably goes into like a movie.
Yeah.
Because, you got to create all these assets and all this other sort of stuff rather than just film some human beings. To be able to speed that up, I can see so much value in that. I mean, Ubisoft, maybe not the best example. Like, do we need 8 Assassin's Creed games every year? Probably not. But, I generally agree.
Especially I was thinking about this week actually. June the movie, right? Dune. June. I say June. Dune with a D. The movie. They filmed the first one, released it, and were like, "Look, we'll consider releasing the other and filming the other two, depending on the success of the first one." Great news is it did well enough, and they started filming the second one. But do you know how much? Now they're going to go through and they'll be like, "Oh, what content can we use from the first one that we filmed in the second one?" Rather than having to go back to site and film it, take all of the team back to the desert in Namibia or wherever they filmed it was, blah 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 blah. Imagine it's going to be so good when you can be like, "Cool, great, we're going to go into phase 2. Hey AI, can you recreate this scene in this with that?" And that's going to be so good for games, as exactly you said, to reduce the time between games. So it's like, hey, we had this subplot within God of War 25, and we didn't actually release it. We wanted it in God of War 26. Can you recreate it, update it to the latest, to match the feel and the theme of the latest work that we've done in God of War 26 and fit it into Act 2.
Yeah, 100%, man. But I mean, I guess this is why they're all on strike in Hollywood, right? Because the logical conclusion of this is man, it's expensive to book Leonardo DiCaprio to reshoot the scene. Let's just do it again with AI.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we talked about that company, right? That AI studio that was...
Yeah. We digress.
Do you agree with striking when your job is at risk? That feels weird to me. That feels like... I understand that why they're striking, but it's just I would be well... I'd be worried about them causing more of an incentive to get rid of me and use AI. Yeah,
it's a funny thing, isn't it? Look, if it wasn't multi-millionaire Hollywood actors, I'd be more sympathetic.
Yeah.
A lot of it is around we want to still get paid when our AI-generated face is put on the screen, so give me $1 million for a 45-minute appearance. Oh, boo-hoo. But I get it. Strikes can be powerful. I mean...
Yeah. I thought it was more at the writer level, and I thought the actors were showing solidarity with the writers. Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Did you hear about the Oppenheimer where they all walked out halfway through or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, we digress again.
Yes. Okay, but AI that helps create realistic mountains or switch up quest structure is one thing. Generative AI powered by unpaid artists is another. It's genuinely not clear what liability, if any, various creators, distributors, or other handlers of generated art might face. If the creators can't realistically claim copyright over their own work, Valve has deemed the risk of publishing that work too high. As such, Valve responded to Eurogamer to say that basically their policy is more what's legally required than any particular stance on AI. Yeah, fair call. We know it's constantly evolving tech. Our goal is not to discourage the use of it on Steam. Instead, we're working through how to integrate it into our already existing review policies. Stated plainly, our review process is a reflection of current copyright law and policies, not an added layer of our opinion. As these laws police and evolve over time, so will our process. Fair call. Absolutely fair call.
Yeah. Thanks for calling it as it is, Valve.
Yeah, no fucking around. In the meantime, it says that it will refund the normally non-refundable app submission fee in cases where this in-progress policy is the deciding factor. Reasonable too. At this time, it's not clear that AI is really being used meaningfully outside a bit of experimentation or, in the developer above's case, a blatant cash grab. A video purportedly about this development process exclaims, "Oh God, we just had to read the article. Get rich quick with AI waifus. How I made $1,000 publishing an AI-generated game on Steam. Gone sexual."
Brackets, gone sexual question mark.
So we ought to not feel the loss too keenly, but as more established developers take up the tools, more established developers wrecked, and the tools themselves become more sophisticated, the matter may not be so cut and dry. Called it in the first paragraph, and TechCrunch even took the move to reveal.
So the TLDR of this is, as we said, it's a temporary thing, and it only affects a weird niche of porn games. Sorry, P-word games. Don't ban us, YouTube. We're not actually doing anything naughty here.
I think you can say the word.
Okay.
Surely. I don't even know if YouTube cares about this at all. It's not like we have ads on at the minute.
You just can't say the V word too many times, right?
Probably. So, once again, article is in the below from TechCrunch. Give it a read. Make sure they get some of their advertising dollars back. If you want to see more of these, let us know. The best way to get us to do one of these is to throw a link in the Discord. That is where we hang out. I am back from holidays now, so we shall be more active in there. But until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.